canceled space programs, delayed launches, more delayed launches, and the all-new rockets that are also delayed on your Space Vidcast Daily for May 5th, 2010. Obama has appointed U.S. Commerce Secretary Gary Locke and NASA Administrator Charles Bolden to lead a new task force in order to try and find a way to best spend $40 million. Allow me to suggest a small donation of $5 million by Gary and Charles to Space Vidcast, if I may. Actually, that $40 million was promised by President Obama at his April 15th speech at Kennedy Space Center. While the president's actually increasing NASA's budget, he's still slashing Constellation, assuming his plan is passed by Congress. The slash will unroot many native Floridians who work on NASA's human spaceflight program. When this year winds down, we will no longer have a space shuttle program, and since Constellation is canceled, we won't have a replacement program either. That's going to displace a lot of people. This $40 million is slated to help train the current workforce so they can find jobs outside of their current area of expertise, as well as keep the space-based economy in Florida from collapsing. The due date for the task force homework assignment is April 15th of this year, and no, it will not be graded on a curve. I remember that Galaxy 15 zombieSat we talked about yesterday? They tried one last Hail Mary to try and get the satellite to shut down and go dark. Alas, this final attempt failed as well. It's now up to SES World Skies to try and keep the Intelsat-run Galaxy 15 from causing a blackout of their own AMC-11. This will be a difficult to impossible task of moving the AMC-11 satellite while still maintaining its proper place in orbit. All the while, they'll need to ensure that they don't cross the streams. That's a Ghostbusters reference, very poorly executed on, I know. Let's head back over to Kennedy Space Center where the SpaceX-built Falcon 9 rocket sits ready to launch. And by ready, I mean completely grounded by the Air Force. While the rocket itself is ready, the flight termination system has not yet been approved. The FTS is designed to destroy the rocket in case of SpaceX losing control and endangering the range or people around it. Falcon 9 has no earlier than launch date of May 16th, 2010, but that doesn't actually mean it's going to launch then. That just means it can't launch before then, no earlier than. SpaceX is required to give a date to the Space Center, and that's exactly what they did. Hopes are we'll see the Falcon 9 lift off for its maiden voyage mid-May, but rumors say that we're out at least until June. Originally, we're supposed to see a launch on November 29th, 2009. That then got delayed to February 9th, 2010, which was in turn delayed to March 3rd, which was in turn delayed to March 8th, which has now been delayed to May 16th. Follow all that? Still slated for 2010 is the launch of the Falcon 9 Heavy and Dragon capsule. Of course, the Air Force has to let them fly first. U.S. space programs are not the only ones with issues. India has delayed their first commercial launch of 2010 due to a problem with their rocket. During a pre-launch test, ISRO scientists saw an unexpected pressure drop in the second stage. The PSLV rocket is cool in that every other stage alternates between solid and liquid fuels. So the first stage is solid, second is liquid, third is solid, and fourth is liquid again. Kind of neat. While the drop in pressure was minor, they're a bit jumpy, as on April 15th, an ISRO rocket decided that it wanted to take a quick swim in the sea rather than float around in outer space. Little known fact, space-based payloads, such as satellites, don't like to get wet. And it seems that Arianespace is meeting a similar fate to that of India. The first flight of the Ariane 5 for 2010 was postponed back in April of this year, and now it looks like the shiny new vehicle built for Arianespace will be delayed as well. Known as Vega, this new rocket was supposed to enter service in 2010, giving the space program a fleet of 3 different rocket designs. Vega is designed to be a small payload-to-orbit vehicle and has no strap-on boosters and 3 solid rocket stages. Oh, and that delayed mission from April we mentioned, yeah, that still has not launched and no ETA. In all fairness to all of these companies, yes, it really is rocket science. Speaking of delays, should we talk about the scheduled May 14th launch of STS-132? Because that might just jinx it. Because STS-132 is currently